learn to fight. Yo, John Fitch here, and this is another episode of Learn to Fight. My last episode got nuked on YouTube for some reason. I don't know why. For some reason, YouTube doesn't want you to know self-defense or reasons why to know how to defend yourself, or to have any tips or clues on de-escalation or looking for cues and things to avoid. And they don't want people to be discouraged from fighting. So that got nuked. But you can go to Rockfin. I suggest you go to Rockfin. All my videos are up there, not touched, uncensored. It's a better platform. Check out Rockfin. Rockfin, ROKFIN.com. It's a much superior platform than YouTube. You'll enjoy it. Go there. But I digress. In this episode, we're going to see a girl exhibit really great composure, really great stand-up grappling, even though it's very basic. It's wrist control, it's inside hand control, stopping strikes. It's great. The composure is the most impressive thing, because Becky, this white girl, is drunk and just awful. She's an awful human being, absolutely awful human being. She is uttering awful filth from her mouth, very, very racist. You know, I know that word gets used a lot, but it is what it is in this clip. I'm turning the sound down because we don't need the N-bombs thrown all around. We don't need the horrible things she said there. You can find that on your own. I don't need this video getting nuked also. But the composure that the other girl, the black girl in this video shows, I think is a student from Kentucky University, is remarkable, because I probably would have headbutted this girl or slapped the shit out of her. So what this girl did was really good. She calmly restrained the girl, prevented her from doing damage to her or anyone else, and waited for authorities to show up and take care of the situation. Bravo. This is a great job. This is a great example of things that you can do to avoid throwing fists and hurting someone and possibly getting yourself into trouble, regardless of whether they deserved it or not. Right? We're supposed to live in a civil society. We're not supposed to be violent towards each other. You know, only the state is allowed to be violent. But in this situation, you know, if she would have decked this Becky, I don't know if I would have had a problem with it. But then again, you always have legal implications and things like that. So she handled this great. She really did. She handled it great. Let's look at this video and see, and I'll kind of break down a little bit of what's going on with the hand fighting and what she's doing, if you can see the details that are there or not. Let's take a closer look. And here we go. Right away, you can see this Becky here is trying to throw punches. She's trying to hit. She almost bit her hand, but you've got great hand control, great wrist control. She's inside hand control and staying inside those elbows. As Becky here tries to throw punches, you see her inside the arm, protecting herself from those wild punches. She's controlling those wrists. She's not holding on super tight, but she's monitoring them. She's staying in control. She's keeping great composure here. She's not losing her temper, because Becky's saying awful things, absolutely awful things, and she probably deserved a headbutt in here. But bravo to this student from Kentucky who did not take things to a more physical level. She didn't escalate. She's laughing. She's being lighthearted with the situation, which helps de-escalate things a little bit. And she has a friend who's able to step in and help with, you know, not beating her up, not smashing her in the face, but holding wrist. Again, Becky tries to punch. You know, they're controlling wrist. They're keeping control of her. They're keeping her from doing damage. She's trying to kick. She's just doing awful things, saying awful things, completely in the wrong. And a good elbow to the nose would have been kind of justified. You know, she just keeps pressing, and the girls wisely stay calm, keep their distance. When the girl gets close, they don't hit her. They're able to engage in a clinch by grabbing the wrists. If they had a little bit more training, they might have been able to put her into the wall, tie her up, get an arm bundle, something, and keep her in the wall to make sure that the thing doesn't escalate, that she isn't able to hit her. Some guys show up to kind of help out the situation. to keep her in place, to make sure there's no more violent attacks from her, and then the police show up. And the police show up, they're able to arrest her. Again, she did a great job, a little bit more training, and she would have been able to control her better. She could have put her into the wall. She could have captured an arm behind her back. There's a number of things that she could have done. I think snap downs are things that work really well. You know, when you're able to snap somebody on the ground or push them onto the ground when they're off balance, especially with a drunk person, a lot of times that can help get them tired. It can help wear them out. It can help change their mindset. A lot of times when people hit the ground, their mind changes about the fight. But she did a good job of being composed. This is great. This is what you need to be able to do in a fight situation, a situation where you're being threatened, when somebody's yelling at you, they're yelling racial slurs. This girl's being awful, yelling racial slurs at her. You know, they could have lost their temper. They could have beat the crap out of this girl. And a lot of people probably would have been okay with that. But they still might have gotten kicked out of school. They still might have gotten arrested. They still might have gotten misdemeanor or felony charges. And then they're going to have a hard time getting a job. You know, kicked out of school and you have a hard time getting a job because you got felony charges now. It's just not worth it. They were smart. They did a great thing here by subduing this girl. They could have been a little bit more technical. They could have had more skills to be able to tie up the arms, maybe snap her down, push her down to the ground, or pin her in the fence. Pin her, not the fence, but the wall. You know, I'm thinking mine MMA here. The girl's grabbing shopping carts, trying to hit him with shopping carts. I think she's been spitting at them. I'm pretty sure Becky here got kicked out of school. She spent at least one night in the clink, in the drunk tank, rightfully so. But these two girls did a great job. They stalled the situation. They drew it out long enough for help to come. These guys showed up to diffuse the thing a little bit and install her. Cops show up, make the arrest. Great job, officer. So this is one of the things I'm trying to show you and teach you through doing these videos, is that there are other ways to win a self-defense situation, a confrontation out in public, out in the wild, out on the street, other than just hitting somebody, other than headbutting or elbowing or kicking somebody. You don't have to escalate the violence to an unnecessary level. This girl was way out of line, deserved any punishment that they threw at her. The University of Kentucky kicking her out, bravo. The police arresting her, charges up against her. I hope those girls sue her for whatever they can sue her for, because it's just not appropriate behavior. There's no reason to do that to somebody or be like that. It's just an awful human being, you know. Maybe she just had one bad day, but chances are this is not a one-off type of behavior from her. The girls that were there, they did a great job. Wrist control, inside hand control. You could see she was checking that elbow with the thumb a lot. Okay, that's a great way to control. Even though you can't always control the wrist, you can't always hold on to the wrist because they're pulling around. Sometimes your grip isn't that strong. I've got a pretty good grip, but a lot of people, their grip's not that strong, and it's not that hard to wrist roll to that thumb and pop the wrist out. So it's a good way to check the arms and check and stay inside hand control. When she tried to throw the punches, that hand was able to catch inside the elbows. She's back on the wrist in control. Great job. It would have been nice to see her progress that into maybe a 2-on-1 or an underhook, turn it into a body clinch, pin her up against the wall, make sure that she's no longer a threat. There were too many instances where she kind of got loose and then she's re-engaging. That's another threat that she's posing. You don't really want that to happen. Nip it in the bud, shut her down, then wait for the police to come and deal with it. But those girls, bravo, they did a great job. They didn't lose their cool. They stayed laughing. They joked about it. They stayed lighthearted about it. It's hard to do sometimes when somebody's yelling that type of terrible stuff at you, or when you're in that panicky or stressed type of situation. So it's really good to have a cool head. And that's one of the reasons you guys need to learn to fight. You need to get into the gym and you need to get put in bad situations, because these scenarios won't stress you out as much because you've already seen it. You've already seen what happens when somebody grabs you or when somebody pushes you, when somebody tries to hit you. You've already been through those scenarios, and it makes it easier for you to deal with it. It helps turn down the noise. It helps make you calmer in those situations. So I don't know if these girls have had any type of training whatsoever. Maybe she's got brothers. Maybe she learned some stuff from them, but she did a great job. That was really great. Good job. For you guys, get your butt to a gym, go to my Gumroad, check the links below, download my intro to practical self-defense, where you learn some very basic self-defense stuff, how to deal with people grabbing you in certain ways and fighting out of it. It's free, absolutely free. I'm working on some other courses right now, so you'll have even more stuff to pick at. But don't go through life never learning anything about fighting. It's not all about punches and kicks and elbows, headbutts, hand fighting, clinch grappling. Okay, grappling doesn't always mean takedowns. It doesn't always mean going to the ground. It doesn't mean hitting double legs and single legs. Wrist control, inside hand positioning, that's hand fighting. That's wrestling. That's grappling. All right, you need to know that stuff. It can really help you diffuse a threatening situation. If you can control somebody and prevent them from grabbing you, hitting you, and doing damage to you, it makes you a superhero. All right, a little bit of knowledge goes a long way. Get your butt to a gym. Take that responsibility on yourself to learn how to protect yourself. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Go to johnfitch.net, sign up for the newsletter. I'll check y'all later.